Bonjour class! It's time for real French now. You took your little reprise test. You either feel good or bad about it. I would say you feel okay. I'm hoping you feel okay. You're not devastated. You're not ready to give up on French. You're feeling okay. You, by now, have posted your flip grids as well. You are still in the process of posting them, but some of you have. And I want to say, I don't want to call you all cowards, because I don't know you yet. But a lot of cameras off, folks. I was hoping I was going to get to see your faces, and I'm not saying it's because you're cowards that you didn't turn your camera on, but maybe a little bit. In the future, I would prefer if you had your camera on. I don't care if you look gross. It's fine. As long as you have a shirt on, I think we should be good. Not really concerned about anything else or your location. You can be lounging in bed. It doesn't matter to me. But I want to see your little faces while you speak French to me. So, we are now starting with actual learning review. We're just going to do a quick, relatively quick, recap of basically everything I need you to know from French 1. You are going to know most of it. It's going to come back to you, I promise. This happens every year where you all haven't been in French for almost a year, and with a school shutting down last spring, it's definitely a year since you've had real French. But it's going to be okay. We're going to do this together. So before we get started, 1, you need a notebook for my class. I'm not going to do notebook checks or anything. But you do need some sort of apparatus with paper. So either a spiral ring notebook, that would be fine. A binder with paper in it with loose leaf, that would be fine. Something you can take notes on, because this is how you're getting your notes for this class. I will be making videos with a little PowerPoint that you watch, and you will scribble down your little notes. You can take notes on your Chromebook, but I advise against it because of how annoying it is to have to insert all the accent marks. It's possible. It just slows you way down, and if you don't put those in, then you all will forget that they belong where they belong. So it's just easier if you take your notes on paper. Next order of business before we really get in here, if you have your French 1 notebook, that would be really helpful for you these next 3 videos. I'm going to do 3 review videos. Because you should be able to find in your French 1 notebook where you covered this stuff. You've already gotten it written down. So for these next 3 videos, these review videos, they're all going to be titled Rappel. We're doing Rappel 1 in this video. Only write down what you don't remember or what you think you won't remember. Some of this you're going to look at and be like, I remember the numbers, I remember how to count to 10, I don't need to write those down. But maybe you've forgotten how to say 20, 30, 40, write those down. Okay, so just everything that you might have forgotten. So since this is a pre-recorded video and I can't sort of gauge where you're at, gauge if you're understanding, I can't make you repeat things to me, it's going to go faster than it would if you were in class. The great thing is, since I'm on video, you can hit pause and pause me to write things down and then start me back up. So in that way, this should be a little more convenient than being in class. If I speak too slowly for you, you can change it to 2 times speed in YouTube, or if I speak too quickly, if I'm going too fast, you can slow me down and listen to me much more slowly. If you have questions about how to do that, email me, but I think you all are pretty YouTube literate. You know how to do that. So without further ado, let's do Rappel 1, reviewing some of the most basic stuff. And I think this is the stuff that you all remember pretty well. First up, les nombres, numbers. Out of everything, I bet you all can still at least count to 20. I feel confident that you can do that. So let's just take a look at these. So 0. I can't make you repeat after me. However, if you would like to be better at French, You should repeat after me after I say things. When I do a little pause, you should be repeating. Your family should be concerned because you're in your room muttering to yourself. That's the kind of energy I'm hoping to bring to your home while you're virtually learning. Repetition, sound like you're casting spells alone in your bedroom. So, zero. Great job. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf, dix. I feel pretty good about the fact that you know 1 through 10. I would go ahead and pause me, say them all out loud to yourself, make sure you can count to 10. I'll wait. Okay. So after 10, we've got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And those are our last new ones for a while because now we're recycling. So 17 is 17, 10, 7. 18 is 18, 10, 8. 19, which is now covered. 19 is 19, which is 10, 9. Great. So 0 through 19, feel confident you have. Pause me right now, see if you can get 1 through 19 without looking at the screen. All right. Then for 20, we've got 20. 20. Just a nice nasal sound. And the only thing that's really different than how we would say numbers in English is that for 21 and 31, 41, etc., is that they say 21. So 20 and 1. 21. Okay? But then they just go right back normal. 22, 22, 22, and so on. 23, 24, 20, and on and on. The word for 30 is 30. The word for 40 is 40. The word for 50 is 50. The word for 60 is 60. Okay. And all of those are the same. So 31, 31, 40, 41, 51, 61, and then 62, 63, etc. Now, when we get to 70, I'm sure you all remember this, these numbers stop having their own words and we're recycling again. So 70, instead of having a different word, that means 70, we say 70, 60, 10, 70. And then 71 is 71, 70, 11. Then 60, 11. Then 72, 60, 12, which means 72. Okay, and so on, all the way up until 79, 79. Then 80, everyone's favorite. 80, 4 20s. 4 20s, and you can see here, oh no, you can see here, 20 has an S because it's plural. 4 20s. 20. Now, after 80, after 80, this S disappears. So 81 is no S on 20. None of the rest have an S, only on 80. Okay, and then when we get to 90, similar to how 70 works, 90 is 4 20s 10. 90, 90. That's it. Some notes here. 71 is 71. Still an A. But 81 is 81. No A. 91, 91. No A. And then 100. 100. 100 looks like century. Right? 100 years is a century. 100 in French is 100. And then no A, no and, just 101, etc. 200, you say just like you do in English. two, hundreds. They make it plural. 200. And 211, 211, etc. That's just how higher numbers work. And then 1000 is 1000. And then like 2000, 2000, 3000, etc. So take a minute, pause me. I want you to count as high as you can. I want you to count as high as you can without looking. Either bend your screen down, go to the next slide, count as high as you can. Let me know how high you get before you need to look. All right. Les jours de la semaine. Days of the week. There's only 7 of these. It's not too bad. So a couple questions that go with it though. Quel jour est aujourd'hui? Quel jour est aujourd'hui? What day is it today? Quel jour est aujourd'hui? What day is it today? For you, if you're watching this when I post it, it's Wednesday. But here in the example we're using is, I swapped the English and the French here. The answer to quel jour est aujourd'hui is c'est lundi. It's Monday. For you all, it's c'est mercredi. It's Wednesday. And the c'est just means it is. And then you follow up with the day of the week it is. Un jour means a day. Un jour. Pause for you to repeat. Une semaine. Une semaine is a week. And then the days of the week. Lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi, dimanche. Okay? So say all of those in a row. Okay, très bien. And you'll notice all of these have one little thing in common. They all have a D. Lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi, dimanche. Just like all of our days have day at the end. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. Aujourd'hui. Aujourd'hui means today. Aujourd'hui. Hier. Hier means yesterday. And demain. Demain means tomorrow. You've probably heard your French 1 teacher say à demain. It means like see you tomorrow. To tomorrow, à demain. All right. That's the days of the week. You just gotta memorize them. That's all there is to do here. Then we've got les mois de l'année, the months of the year. So un mois is a month. And une année is a year. And then once again, here are all the months of the year. I think you all maybe mostly remember these. Probably a few that would trip you up. So just repeat after me. Janvier, février, mars, avril, mai, juin, juillet, août, septembre, octobre. I have skipped Novembre, but Novembre should be here. And décembre. Janvier, février, mars, avril, mai, juin, juillet, août, septembre, octobre, novembre, décembre. Pause me, read through them, nice and fluently. Feel like around September things pick up. You get really good at saying them. And those are the months. Once again, you just have to memorize them. A lot of them look similar to the English ones, but that can mess you up when you're trying to pronounce them. Dates. Les dates. Les dates. So, I'm sure you all remember that in Europe and most other countries in the world, they write their dates differently than we do. We write month, day, year. Most of them, almost every other country in the world, writes day, month, year. We'll see that in a second. So, quelle est la date? Quelle est la date? What day is it? What's the date? And you can add aujourd'hui, today. What's the date today? Quelle est la date aujourd'hui? And then the answer to this, similar to what day of the week it is, where you start with c'est, you do for the date as well. So, c'est le 13 janvier. C'est le 13 janvier. It's January 13th. That's how we would say that in English. So, the formation for dates in French, le plus number plus month. Le plus number plus month. That I would like to be drilled into your head. Le number month. Le number month. If it is the first of the month, they use the word premier instead of saying the number, like 13. So c'est le 1er mars. It's March 1st. Say le premier instead of le 1. It's awkward and incorrect. Alright, so you can also use the same construction to answer other questions about date. For instance, quand est ton anniversaire? Quand est ton anniversaire? When is your birthday? So your answer, my answer anyway, is c'est le 29 septembre. Le number month. And when you're actually writing in French, they wouldn't spell out the numbers like I did here. I like you all to do it, so I can make sure you know how to spell the numbers, but you would just use the numeral just like you would in English. C'est le 29 septembre. And down here you can see how French people write the date. Day, month, year. 13/1/2021. 2021. And then, get out of here, little slide thing. Then you can see down at the very bottom, that's sort of the extended way to write the date. 13 janvier 2021. That's that. Those are dates. Not terrible. Le number month. That's the main thing you need to remember. Le number month. Alright, next. Quelle heure est-il? I am positive you remember this from French 1. Even if you don't remember how to do it, you at least remember the question. Quelle heure est-il? Means what time is it? Quelle heure est-il? Okay, and the answer here always starts with il est. Il est. It is. Il est une heure. Il est une heure. It is 1 o'clock. Not too bad. Il est one heure, hour, but we would say o'clock. Il est 9h30. Et demi means and a half. So, and half. So, il est 9h30. It is 9:30. So you can hear here, this word by itself is neuf, but when it's in front of the word heure, there's liaison here, which I know you remember from French 1, where the last sound changes. So it's 9h, the V sound. Il est 9h30. It is 9:30. Okay? Il est 3h15. Il est 3h15. It is 3:15. It is 3 hours and a quarter. So this looks like a quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. Okay? Il est 10h moins le quart. Okay, moins le quart. Moins means minus. Le quart means the quarter. So 10 o'clock minus 15 minutes, which would make it 9:45. I know this feels a little confusing. It feels like wrong to you. It's the same thing as saying in English, it's a quarter till, which I know probably you all don't talk like that. It probably is like an old person thing to you. You all would just look at a clock and be like, it's 9:47, and just say the exact hour or minute. But some people, like me, are old and we talk like this. See, ladies and Monica, it's like a quarter till 10. It's 9:45. Okay? And then you can also use the moins for any number. So, il est 5h moins 5. It's 5 o'clock minus 5, which makes it 4:55. In English, we would say it's 5 till. I know that's strange. You could also just say Il est 4h55. It's 4:55. That's also fine. And then two other time words. Midi. Midi means noon, 12 p.m. The one in the middle of the daylight is 12 p.m. And then minuit. Minuit, which is midnight. That's 12 a.m. The one in the middle of the night is 12 a.m. No, that's confusing. And then just a couple more time words that are helpful. So, du matin. Du matin means in the morning. So, il est 1h du matin, it's 1 in the morning. Then, de l'après-midi. This is missing an accent. It should have an accent grave, one that goes down. Accent grave. But this means in the afternoon. So, il est 1h de l'après-midi. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then, du soir. Du soir means in the evening. So, il est 9h30 du soir. It's 9:30 in the evening. And then just a note here, this doesn't matter too much for you, but technically in France, they use what we call military time. They use a 24-hour clock. So instead of saying it's 3:30 in the afternoon, they would say it's 15h30. This is also how they write time. They don't do the little dots like we do, how I've done here, the 9:30, the colon. They do an H instead. And there's supposed to be a space on either side of it, but a lot of people write it without a space. Like, so it would be 15H30. And that means 3:30 in the afternoon to us, who use a 12-hour clock. All right, so extra credit. If you were watching this video, excellent news. I'm afraid you all are gonna miss this. Extra credit. If your brain has shut off, it's extra credit time. Look at this clock and email me the French sentence for what time it is. If I said to you, quelle heure est-il? And this is the clock you were looking at. Send me an email with the full sentence. So it'll start with il est. Il est. And I want you to spell out the numbers. Tell me what time it is on this clock. And I'll give you some amount of extra credit to be determined. Next, le temps. We're almost done with this section of review. I know it's a lot. This is how it must be right here at the beginning. Le temps, the weather. Le temps, okay? Quel temps fait-il? Quel temps fait-il? Means how's the weather? What's the weather like? What's it doing? Okay, and there are a bunch of different answers. I think most of you all at least remember some of these. So, il fait beau. Il fait beau. It's nice. Il fait bon. Il fait bon. It's fine. It's pleasant. Il fait chaud. Il fait chaud. It's hot. Il fait froid. Il fait froid. It's cold. Il fait frais. Il fait frais. It's cool. Il fait mauvais. Il fait mauvais. It's bad. It's bad out there. Il neige. It's snowing. Il neige. And il pleut. Il pleut. It's raining. So notice one thing about all these phrases. What do they have in common, and which ones don't have it in common? So most of them have fait. Most of them start il fait. It's doing, and then an adjective. Beau, bon, chaud, froid, frais, mauvais. It's doing beautiful. It's doing good, etc. But il neige and il pleut, there's no fait. So just il neige, il pleut, 2 words. It's snowing, it's raining. And then, finalement, finally, for Rappel 1, last thing for this video, les saisons, the seasons. So, there's only 4. We've got le printemps, spring, l'été, which is summer, l'automne, which is autumn or fall, because leaf fall down, and then l'hiver, which is winter. All right, that is the end of the PowerPoint section for this first review bit. So now, you're probably a little tired. Maybe you knew all of this and you didn't write anything down on your sheet of paper. Maybe you didn't write anything down, but you should have, and now you need to go back and write down the things that you've forgotten. If you didn't go find your French 1 notebook earlier at the beginning of this video when I said that it might be a good idea, now is the time. So, now that you've taken some notes, I have posted right after this in Google Classroom the Rappel 1 little review sheet. So the other review sheets for Rappel 2 and Rappel 3 will have like actual questions on them, but there just aren't that many questions I can ask about these things. So instead, I linked you to some little quizzes you can use to practice. I don't know if you've ever used Sporkle before, but I'll show you what it's like. So it pulls up, the website looks like it's from like 2005, but it works great. So you can see it's got the words in English and you need to write them in French. So you've got 5 minutes, you just hit play quiz. You're like, well, I know one, it's un. And then you would type in deux, trois, and so on. And I have one of these little quizzes for the numbers, for the days of the week, and for the months of the year. So you can practice doing all 3 of those little sections on Sporkle. So it's kind of fun. You can see how quickly you can do it, see if you can do it in time. And then this right here is going to be your most helpful resource for this section of review, and it is the Quizlet. Don't be intimidated. There are 86 terms, but they're the numbers. It's not too bad. So the numbers, the weather, the days of the week, the months, everything that we just covered is here in this Quizlet. If you haven't used Quizlet before, there are different things you can do with the sets. So you can use flashcards, and it'll give you one side, you can flip it over. If you ever forget how to say something, Quizlet will say it for you. You can hit the audio button and a lady will say it. Her accent's pretty good, so you can trust her. You can also do the learn option, which is nice. I use this one in my college classes a lot. So it'll give you the word and you have to pick between 4. Dimanche means Sunday. Give you a little smiley face. And if you get any wrong, it'll shuffle them back into the pile and make sure you get them right. So that can be a good way to learn as well. Write, if you have a hard time spelling, this is really helpful. If spelling is what always gets you, you could say the word but not spell it, writing is helpful. So is the spelling. And then a test is just a way to practice. It does some fill in the blank, some multiple choice, some true or false. And then there are a couple games you can play. So there's a matching game, which is exactly what it sounds like, and then a game called Gravity, which is asteroids are coming in and they have one side of the card and you have to type the other side to blow up the asteroid. It's kind of fun, but this is going to be the most helpful resource if you're struggling with any of these subjects, and if you're just struggling with one. So you've got your numbers, but say, oh, I can't remember the days of the week. Just go through and star the days of the week, or star whatever you're having a hard time with, and then you can click just to study the ones you've starred. Should be pretty helpful for you. It's been a bit of time now, so get practicing before you start watching the next video. Take a little break, work on some other classes, maybe get a snack. I don't know. I know it was hard. You've had a hard time sort of whispering because you're afraid to speak French too loudly. I get it. And I will see you in the next video, Rappel de, where we review some nouns. It's so many. This next one's going to be a doozy. I'll see you then.